time in Boston officially over. The number 3 pick.
Jaylen Brown trade to the 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks.
The NBA just delivered one of the most unbelievable trades we've seen in years. Jaylen Brown is officially a member of the Philadelphia 76ers, and if you're a Celtics fan, you might not recover from this one. Boston extended the 2024 Finals MVP to one of their biggest rivals in exchange for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. At first glance, getting an all-star and multiple draft picks sounds reasonable, but once you actually break this trade down, it becomes one of the most confusing trades the Celtics have made under Brad Stevens, because this isn't just a trade, this changes the entire balance of power in the Eastern Conference. But here's the part nobody is talking about. I think there's one reason Brad Stevens was actually willing to make this trade, and if I'm right, it changes everything. We'll come back to that later in the video. For years, Jaylen Brown's name constantly appeared in trade rumors. Every offseason, every deadline, it felt like Boston was listening to offers. Whether it was rumored packages for Giannis, Kevin Durant, or other superstars, Brown's name was always the one being discussed. Even after helping Boston win the championship, even after becoming Finals MVP, the rumors never truly disappeared. Eventually, that starts to wear on a player. No matter what either side said publicly, the relationship never seemed completely repaired. And now, Boston has finally pulled the trigger. But here's what makes this trade so shocking. They didn't send him to the Western Conference. They didn't send him to a rebuilding team. They traded him directly to Philadelphia, a team they will battle all season long, a team they could easily meet in the playoffs. Instead of eliminating a rival, they may have just created a super team. But wait, it gets even crazier, because here's where everything changes. Philadelphia didn't just add another all-star, they may have added the exact player they've been missing for years, an elite defender. Now imagine this lineup: Tyrese Maxey, Kxng, Jaylen Brown, Dean Wade, and Joel Embiid. That's not just a good team, that's a problem for every contender in the East. Maxey is a 3-level scorer who can break down any defense. Brown brings championship experience, two-way play, and 25-point upside any night. And Embiid, when healthy, is still one of the most dominant forces in basketball. For years, the Sixers have been searching for this exact piece. They tried different players, different systems, nothing worked, but now they've landed the Finals MVP in his prime. That's the type of move championship teams don't hesitate on. But nobody is talking about the obvious question. Jaylen Brown once said he wanted to be the face of a franchise, the number 1 option. Instead, he's now in a situation where he might be the 3rd option behind Embiid and Maxey. And ironically, that might be the best version of him, because now he doesn't have to force everything. He can just play, attack mixed matches, lock in defensively, and make winning plays. That version of Jaylen Brown is terrifying. Now here's the biggest problem for Boston, and this is where everything gets complicated. Yes, they get Paul George, and yes, they get 2 first-round picks, but is that really enough? Paul George is still a good player when healthy, but he's 36 years old, he's battled injuries, he's on a massive $57 million contract, and realistically, he's much closer to the end than the beginning. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown is 29, still in his prime, already a proven championship level player, and a Finals MVP. Those players almost never become available, yet Boston just moved them. Some people will argue that this move was about financial flexibility. Others believe Brad Stevens saw long-term concerns the public didn't know about. Maybe they believe Brown had already peaked, or the relationship behind closed doors completely broke down. Whatever the reason, this is not how Boston usually operates. They built around Tatum and Brown, they trusted the core, and delivered a championship. But this move completely changes that identity. And that's why Celtics fans aren't just confused, they're furious. Because after finally hanging banner 18, Boston broke up the core that got them there. And if you think Philadelphia won this trade, wait until you see what Boston actually got back. The question now is, can Paul George keep them in championship contention, or is this just a short-term reset before another move? Because replacing a Finals MVP is almost impossible, especially with someone entering that final stage of his career. Boston might gain flexibility, they might flip those picks later, but right now, they look worse. In Philadelphia, they look dangerous. The entire Eastern Conference just shifted overnight. The Celtics, the Sixers, the Raptors, everything just got more competitive. And here's the craziest part. If those two teams meet in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown could be the one eliminating the franchise that drafted him and traded him. Imagine him walking into Boston in a Sixers jersey, hitting a clutch shot, silencing TD Garden. That's no longer hypothetical, that's a real possibility. Remember what I said in the beginning of this video? The one reason Brad Stevens may have made this trade is because the relationship behind the scenes was beyond repair. We may never know the full truth, but if Brad Stevens is right, this will go down as the boldest trade in Celtics history. If he's wrong, Boston may have just handed its biggest rival another championship window, and Celtics fans will remember this day for the next decade. The first Celtics vs 76ers game after this trade won't feel like a regular season game. It will feel like a Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but that's just my opinion. What grade would you give this trade? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more NBA content, and I'll see you in the next one.